right, now let's find piece number 14 that is the handle. So the handle I am thinking is white. Let me see if I'm right. I think this says 14 because I can see the numbers for stripes there. So I'm going to go ahead and take out it, and it's partner number 19, which is going to be the back side of the handle. And then I can put this away. And so here we will cut out. I have to say that although Bucilla is always my go-to company for kits, this particular kit has not been printed real well. You can see these dots and extra little bits that, and in some cases, some of the lines are difficult to see. That doesn't usually happen. And when it does, usually you can look at the picture and you've got most of the lines. Maybe you might just have a gap, and you can guesstimate it, because as I always tell everyone, remember, the only one who looks at the pictures on the kit is you. The people you give these to are the people who are admiring your beautiful work on your Christmas tree. They do not have the opportunity to see the original, so whatever you do is yours and is perfect. So don't add stress where it is really not necessary at all. I had a viewer on one of my other videos where I talked about cutting felt for applique, and she had a great idea. She recommended cuticle scissors. They're very sharp, and their blades are short and slightly curved, and that they are really excellent. And that's what she uses when she needs to get into some of these tight and rounded spaces. So that might be an investment that you might decide to make. I have not yet, but I think it's a wonderful suggestion, and I'm seriously considering it, very seriously, because of all the stockings that I do. It wouldn't hurt to have an extra dedicated tool for those tight spots. Okay, so there's the handle so far. Now, the dress say sequin the handle now, then applique the stripes, and then add the sequins to the stripes. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to sew the stripes down first, and then do all my sequins, because as you could see when I was stitching this down, the sequins just want to grab your sewing thread. It's their mission in life. And so the fewer sequins you've got on a piece when you are doing the applique, the easier. So I'm going to go ahead and find the stripe 15 through 18 and get those pinned on there. That says 10. Okay, so that means that's going to go under there and like that. Okay. All right, that makes sense. I was trying to think. I'm not going to have piece 10. This is 10. I need to find red stripes 15 through 18. Yeah, here's 17, 18, 15. It would be nice if they were together, but you know what? Oops. Oh. We're going to cut them apart anyway, so it doesn't matter. There's 17, 18. And let's look in here, it's 15. And I'm going to stab just to the side here. So I'm doing, I don't usually stab into my felt, so I guess I'm not going to this time either. I tried to, but it didn't work. So I will just cut him out. One of the biggest things as you're working on a kit is to notice that your felt is diminishing. It's a good feeling because you know you're getting somewhere to do that. So even though I'm kind of making a mess of it all here by cutting into it and leaving strips and shreds, no big deal. As you get towards the end, it just really doesn't matter at all, because you're using it all up. Okay, so I want these 18, 17, 16, 15. Okay, so I'm going to start with 15. And I had on the some of the other candy canes. Have been a lot of candy canes and things lately. Is I like to just get the piece cut out and pin it on. But then what I found is then I am juggling, and I'm having as much challenge with the pins and also with the sequins. So I have most recently, just cut out my piece like this. Oops, get that white piece off there. And just go ahead and attach it so that I am not dealing with lots of pins. And again, remember, I'm not going to sandwich the knot because it's going to have this back on the back. So the knot will not be visible. It will eventually be sandwiched between the other felt. And I don't know if I've said it already. If I have, I'll say it again. I am going to choose to stuff this knot with stuffing of pipe cleaners. I think that would be really effective. And because this is supposed to be a handle, it should be rather sturdy. And pipe cleaners are so nice when you are doing something that is curved, where it's narrow and it can be a challenge to get the stuffing in there and to stitch it shut and make it, because you would really have to stuff this pretty tightly so that it would be sturdy enough to hold up. So there we go. And since I know I'm coming right back to use this again, I'm going to go ahead and get it knotted and trimmed. So it is ready. So there we go. That's 15. So now we need, here is 16. There he is. And he is going to fit right there. Just make sure that you are covering the painted indicator lines. You can see when you're working on a thin, especially kind of a curvy piece, how easily your thread gets tangled around things. And then if it had sequins there as well, oof. Okay. So now on the black spots, we will put white sequins, and on the red spots, we will put red sequins. Got a white bead needle ready to go. And so, since my wonderful assistant Finnegan is not in the room, I can leave my sequins out. Because the other day he kept putting his paw on them and then he'd pull them towards him, and I'd have to get them all because they would stick to his paw just like that. Get them all back, and he probably did it 5 times. He's never done that before. But even old cats sometimes can figure out new ways to make life interesting for themselves. Okay. There's a little black spot there that I'm just not happy about. There we go. Right. It's time for red. Yeah. Need another bead needle. I'm stealing a bead needle from the other kit I'm working on. Don't tell. They'll never know. There it is. That's how it's going to look. We're going to get this other piece, and then I'll get with you on if I can figure out how to insert the pipe cleaner. I'm not sure it'll be enough. I might have to add some stuffing as well, but we'll see. I had a kit not too long back here that had a bunch of reindeer over the rooftops. I think it was called Santa's Sleigh. And all those, I think there were 4 reindeer. I'm not sure, but there were a lot of reindeer legs, and all those legs were so thin. And they also were bent in different directions, and it would have been so difficult to stuff them in the traditional way. And it was in that kit that they recommended the pipe cleaners. And I have to tell you that that's the way to go for those thin, curving kinds of things, which is when I saw this was what made me think pipe cleaners will work. So we'll see if I'm right. Okay, here is one of my pipe cleaners, and I have the ends bent over, and there actually is some logic to that, and that helps them not to poke through the fabric that you might be using them with. And you have to be very careful not to cut these pipe cleaners with your good felt scissors, because that is certain death for those scissors. So I'm going to cut it a little bit long so that I can rebend it back over. And let's see how I did. That looks okay, except it's going the wrong way. So let's hope that I can. Yeah, I can flip it over. Yay. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white thread and I'm going to stitch all along here first. And then I can kind of pull through and see how it's going to do, as far as does it need more, like do I need to stick a little stuffing in there with it. And so that's what I'm going to do. And on the stocking with the reindeer legs, I was able to stitch and then put the pipe cleaner in. I think I can do the same thing here as long as I keep all of this open. So that is not enough thread. Okay. Now I am going to sandwich my knot, even though this bit of the handle will be sandwiched itself, so it would not show, but it's just my habit. And you might say, oh dear, you've got two colors. How are you going to stitch that? Well, you can see I'm stitching here in the red. I do try to kind of go under the sequin and just get one stitch there. And then if you pull it tight, it really doesn't show much because of the felt. It kind of embeds itself into the felt. So that's a nice plus. It's a little bonus. So I get it under the sequin. Try to just take one in there. And then go back to the white. And you pull it pretty tight, and it doesn't disappear, but it's much less visible. This was much easier to stitch without that pipe cleaner in there, trying to hold it and the felt. Okay, it's time to tuck it in. It's kind of a number 2. Okay. Oh, I can feel this here that I do not think this is going to need additional stuffing at all. No, I think this is going to work perfect. Just like it is. There we go. So you have a sequin that escaped. And I'm going to save this little bit of pipe cleaner because it would be perfect for a different, candy cane or a peppermint stick. So I'm not going to waste any of those little bits. Okay, now we just need to cut out the back, which is, let me see here, stuff and applique the front of the handle to the back. We did that. Okay, now we're going to look for piece number 20, which is the back of that ornament. I'm guessing it's white. And we are almost done right there. We are so close to finishing the first of our 6 ornaments. And I have to say that some of the ornaments you have to, I always buy kits that have 6. That's because I have 6 children. And so I want to make one for each of them. Some of them have families, some do not. But they get one per household because I just can't make a million. But some of the kits I have seen and that I've considered buying have many more than 6 in them. They might have 12 or something like that. And as I look at those more closely and try to discern whether that's a good thing for me to try, I have recognized that a lot of them, the ornaments are very, very small. And ornaments already, I think, have some challenge to them because their pieces have a tendency to be smaller than the pieces that might go on a stocking. So, in other words, I've got, although, you could make just one ornament and then, save the rest for another year, but say this ornament has 20 pieces. And there are 6 ornaments, so that's 180, no, it's 120 pieces, right? 6 times 2, 12, 120 pieces. There are lots of stocking kits out there that you can get that are just over 90. So you're actually, if you do all of these ornaments, you're going to do more pieces and more piecing than you would if you made a stocking. So, but like I said, you could stop after one and save the rest for another time. But sometimes the pieces on these ornaments are so small. They're sometimes replicating, say, a train or something from a stocking, and so they're miniaturized. And I find it a little bit more difficult to work on. So just to let you know, but so far this one has been pretty simple. The pieces are good sized, and I did get a kit for ornaments. It was called oversized ornaments. They happened to be for Easter, and I loved doing those. So if you can find Christmas or any holiday you want ornaments that say oversized, that does make them a little bit easier. So here we go. Whenever I'm doing stuffing, I like to sew about halfway and then stuff. So I think I'm going to sew the side without the handle, and then stuff, and then I can get the handle in there with the stuffing, and I think that might be the easiest way to go. It doesn't look like this lines up perfectly, but don't worry, once you get your stuffing in there, that can take up the difference. And also, you can always trim off bits of felt that hang over when you're done. So I do that with stockings too. There's my number. Like I said, I'm not great at the numbers, but at least we know what it is. And here is the front of our sweet little mug of hot chocolate. All finished. Okay. Like I said, this is right now my favorite kit. So, come back and we'll get started on kit number 2. It looks like it's going to be this little gingerbread mug. That will be next. So come on back. We look forward to seeing you. Have a blessed day.